The real reason EA canceled the Mandalorian game, among many others that they're about to cancel as well. And you know what? The fault doesn't fall on EA. Today I've got the scoop, I've got the information from behind the scenes. This is from a very, very trustable source that I have that works with EA. I'm not going to name names, obviously, to keep them extremely private and anonymous. However, this is someone that I've known for many years, and you can either trust me or don't, but I'll never lie to you guys. So, yesterday was a complete shock, they say. This was a few days ago, they sent it to me. However, I was waiting until I could get approval from them and permission that I could tell the story. EA execs came in the morning, and they ended up telling staff in the afternoon. Contractors were last to know. So EA used to hold the exclusive licensing on a massive contract with Disney Lucasfilm. When it ran out, all new licensing that would be issued by Disney Lucasfilm would ask for 22% of profits, which is already quite steep. But it was manageable, and EA could still be happy with their slice of the money pie. Publishing gets a slice, and developers get a slice, and EA owns Respawn, so they get an even bigger slice. Bob Iger announced that all yet-to-be-released games would see an increase of 11% to the previously negotiated 22% from the contracts and new contracts to come in. So previous ones and new ones. Previous ones that were already established. And Epic Games would be the only one to have a 0% licensing fee. This is the one where Disney just put in, I think, over like $1 billion into Epic Games. So Epic Games doesn't have to pay anything to Disney. And so you can kind of think here, and there's much more. You can kind of think, okay, well, what's in it for Disney? Why would they give Epic Games this sort of, free pass while everyone else has to go on rations? Unreal Engine. They want access to Unreal Engine with Epic Games. I don't know if you heard, but Disney bought a huge chunk of Epic Games, not just because they want free use of the Unreal Engine, which they use for not just gaming, but CGI renders in films several months ago. So they want it for movies and games. So that means Bob Iger, since he cannot sever negotiated deals without penalties, right? So they have contracts. They can't be like, hey, well, Disney just walks off for no reason. Well, then they're going to have to pay up big time because they're essentially breaching contract. So what they're doing, and Bob's smart, he's an extremely smart businessman. It's like, okay, well, you know what? We're going to increase our percentage that we want money, and we're going to let you figure it out. And so EA says, well, hey, I can't. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to give you guys, 33% of the cut of the, no, that's too much. Come on. What are they going to do? They're going to back out of the deal, and they're going to have to pay the penalties. So that means Bob Iger, since he cannot sever negotiated deals without penalties, upped the fees he'd collect from any studios using his IP, any Disney IP, including Lucasfilm, so that they cut deals and pay penalties and not Disney. So that means that possibly any and all video games with the Star Wars license will have to pay through the nose. Most younger studios, not the EAs or the Epic Games or the Ubisofts, may end up having to cancel those negotiated deals because they won't have the money to finish it and not make any money from it. For example, Star Wars Eclipse, the KOTOR remake, etc. EA opted to keep the sure thing in Star Wars Jedi series, but I can imagine we'll be seeing a sunset to Battlefront 1 and 2. The only Star Wars which Disney Lucasfilm has no more licensing to collect on is Star Wars The Old Republic MMO, which was sent off to Broadsword Studios, an EA studio. EA owns that game as part of their completion to the exclusivity deal they had long before. So that is what is really going on, they say. And I think all Star Wars games are at risk. So this is a really brilliant move from Bob. I mean, if you want to get out of a contract, make them break up with you. If you want to get out of a relationship and you don't want to be the one to break up, be so horrible or do something that makes them just want to break up with you and leave you. And that's essentially what Bob is doing, because he can't get out of the contract and just say, hey, we don't want to do this anymore. Things are signed, contracts have been probably partially paid or paid, and he can't just leave, right? So there probably is like a exit clause of some sorts. And I mean, Disney's one of the most powerful, one of the most powerful companies in the world, media companies in the world. And they have lawyers that, could pretty much figure anything out. So I'm sure that Bob always has an exit strategy if he needs to, and I'm sure his lawyers always probably protect him in that sense, where he has a way out. So, I mean, why would Bob do this? Why would Disney do this? You know, and listen, I'm not going to say this is 100% ironclad true. I trust this person. I've known this person for many years on the channel. They have been extremely loyal. They're legit. So I have no reason to believe otherwise. That being said, you know, I can't legally say this is 100% factual. This is just what they're telling me. This is my opinion. I believe them. So what I think is going on here is that Bob wants to pull out completely from all of these games because he's planning something pretty huge with Epic. Something with their whole Fortnite shebang that they're doing, as well as he wants Unreal Engine for the movies and stuff like that. Now, they go on to say, I think, this is my speculation by looking at the things being done from the inside, Bob wants to shut down Disney Plus and move things into Hulu, which is doing fabulously, which is why he pushed for Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni to do The Mandalorian as a film instead of a 4th season. That was all Bob Iger, and it was rushed. I mean, we've known for a while that there would be a culminating film to close Mando, but it was supposed to be after 5 seasons that had been Bob Chapek's plan. He also chose to put Marvel's, and I think it was actually 6 seasons. Jon Favreau said there's 6 seasons of The Mandalorian that he wants to make. He also chose to put Marvel's Echo, which sucked, in both Disney Plus and on Hulu, so that shift is happening. I don't think that's a bad idea, to be honest, and the whole thing to buy Epic Games was really about the Unreal Engine they use extensively in all aspects. And Bob's like, okay, how can I funnel all game dev to Epic, where we have full control over everything now, games and movies? So his answer was increase license fees and widen the cut of that pie to his favor, basically edging out profits from all over game dev companies currently doing anything Disney related. It's not just Star Wars, so it's Marvel, you know, any of the other IPs, Pixar, I suppose, everything. Brilliant business move from Bob Iger, extremely callous, extremely, I'm not a fan, you know, I'm a Star Wars fan, you know, they're shutting down a lot of the games that we were looking forwards to. I mean, this is potentially why there's been so many announcements and then foreclosures and cancelments of the games that we got announced. You know, Eclipse, man, I am still so excited for that game, and it's from one of my favorite companies, gaming companies, Quantic Dreams, and they made one of my favorite games, which is Detroit Become Human. They also made Purple Rain, which I've never finished, but it's also a good game. They make good games. So, you know, that's a game I was really hoping to see, and so was the Mandalorian game, but it seems now that that's out of the picture. Eclipse, I don't know what's happening with that. The first-person shooter, who knows? The strategy games, who knows? You know, and then they're making the one that's coming out in the fall now, which also got pushed back. It was supposed to come out in March, this month, but it got pushed back. The Star Wars Outlaws, which honestly doesn't look too exciting. There's a few features that look okay, like, you know, jumping into space and all that in your ship. It doesn't really look all that great. I don't really care for it. I was hoping for something else, Star Wars Eclipse, or, you know, KOTOR remake, or, you know, a Mando game, something a little fresh and exciting and new. I hope Star Wars Jedi Survivor Jedi 3 is still going to be made. At this point, we don't know. You know, he wanted to get out, and he successfully has done that. However, we don't know the future of any Star Wars games going forwards, and that's unfortunate. But we do know that he has said he wants to really focus on games. So there must be something up his sleeve that hasn't been announced yet, and I'm sure it will be. However, right now it just looks kind of shitty because it's like, well, you know, games are just getting canceled and announced and then canceled and announced, and it's just not looking good. It's not looking promising. Like, you know, what do we have to really rely on here? Nothing. So I personally, I'm going to wait. I'm going to see what happens. You know, we might get something super amazing announced. We might not. As for Disney Plus closing, I don't know if I believe that. I think they're making a lot of money with Disney Plus, but merging it with Hulu also does make sense. So, you know, why have 2 streaming services when you could just have one and put them all together? I don't know. I guess we'll wait and see, but that essentially is the answer, and I wanted to clear that up because I, and a lot of people, thought that it was EA. And look, it still might be. But at the end of the day, this does make a lot of sense. And if you kind of tie up the pieces and add them up, it kind of all falls into place. So I don't know what to think really, but this is some interesting information. It's something for you to think and chew on. And I guess we'll see going forward. So I think we should remain calm, be chill, and we'll wait and see what happens. It could be amazing. We could get some really amazing titles announced. Maybe he's pulling all the funding he wants to get out of EA. I mean, look, I'm not a fan of EA. I think they shit all over Star Wars. I don't think they did a really great job at all. So I personally want to see the exclusivity vanish and, you know, any capable gaming company to take the reins on a Star Wars IP. And that would be pretty fantastic, and to see what they come up with. Because, you know, each one has their own specific taste and feel. So I would love to see that. However, as for EA, eat rocks, man. You guys didn't do a great job anyways. The only thing you got going for you is Respawn, and that's not even you guys. So whoever's handling EA ain't done a good job. So we'll see what happens going forwards. Not sure what's going to go on, but I'm excited and I'm hopeful. That's the main thing that I can leave you with. Hope you have a great day. Let me know what you think about all of this, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, remember, the Force will be with you always.
Fulfill your destiny.